What's one thing about Pete people don't realize?
That he's got a big heart, that he's very smart.
Yeah.
He is the most faithful patriot of this country. He loves his country, He's fought and almost died for his country. He's a good dad. He's an amazing son and father. And that's the Pete I want people to know.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and Pete Hegseth is the poster boy of what's wrong with politics today. A man who claims to walk with the Lord, but whose actions say completely different. He's a walking contradiction, someone whose scandals stretch from his personal life outward. And now his own mother, yes, his own mother has accused him of being an abuser of women. Let's be clear, folks, this isn't just a family spat. This is damning, and it's coming from someone who knows him better than anyone. The leaked email from Penelope Hegseth paints a bad picture. In her words, Pete is a man who cheats, lies, belittles women, and uses them for his own personal power and ego. That's not me saying it. That's not some political opponent trying to score points. That's his mom. But instead of addressing these allegations, Pete and his defenders want us to focus on how unfair it is that this email become public. Give me a break. When Penelope wrote that email, she wasn't speaking to the press. She wasn't trying to influence voters. She was speaking directly to her son. Her words were raw, unfiltered, and damning. And now that the email is out there, she's trying to walk it back, claiming it was written out of love and blaming the media for exposing it. But you know what? You said it, Penelope. You can't unring that bell.
To recap, you were angry about what was going on, his behavior during the divorce.
Right.
And so you wrote that email. And then, you know, a couple hours later, you apologized. And you guys talked and you worked it out?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Pete and I are very close today. In fact, our whole family is very tight-knit. I think people need to listen to him, get to know him, not the Pete from 7 years ago, but the Pete of today.
Right.
Some of those attachments or descriptions are just not true, especially anymore.
It sounds like you're a little disillusioned. Have you lost trust in how things happen?
No, listen, I came to take on New York City, to take on the New York Times, to be a mother, a strong mother, a fighter.
What's your message to the New York Times?
I would say I don't think the way you operate it feels almost criminal when reporters call you and threaten you.
The hypocrisy here is staggering. When it's Hunter Biden or Hillary Clinton, the GOP has no problem dragging their private lives through the mud. They plaster Hunter's private pictures in congressional hearings. They spend years yelling about Hillary's emails. But when it's one of their own, suddenly privacy is sacred. Suddenly it's outrageous to print a mother's email calling out her son for being abusive. You can't have it both ways, folks.
Well, it was out of the ordinary for the newspaper to print private correspondence between a mother and a son, but...
You don't think it was relevant, though, Scott?
I mean, I thought it was pretty outrageous that they printed. But yeah, I mean, look, relevance is a different question, but...
I think it was pretty outrageous when we put Hunter Biden's junk on congressional billboards. That was also outrageous, and yet that is sort of the world
I think there's a lot
we're
of outrageous stuff.
And let's talk about Pete's response to all of this. He didn't deny the allegations outright. Instead, he dismissed them as something written in anger that doesn't reflect who he is today.
But ultimately, he reiterated the same thing this morning. Hey, Pete, I got your back. It's a fight. They're coming after you. Get after it. I think he'll be delighted that we're talking today. Yeah. And we're going to do more talking because for so long what was said about me, what has been said about me, it was so ridiculous and all anonymous that we didn't want to give it oxygen. You don't want to respond to things that don't merit response.
That's a convenient excuse, isn't it? It's not that the allegations are false, it's that they're outdated. But here's the thing, Pete. If you're truly changed, where's the accountability? Where's the acknowledgement of the harm you caused? You don't get to just wave away your past because it's inconvenient. What makes this even worse is that Pete Hegseth isn't some random guy with a messy personal life. He's a public figure. He's someone Trump has reportedly considered for Secretary of Defense. Let me say that again, Secretary of Defense. This is a position that oversees 3 million employees and our entire national security apparatus. Do we really want someone like Pete Hegseth in that role? A man accused of abusing women, mismanaging organizations, and acting recklessly? I don't think so. But of course, Trump has Pete's back. He reportedly told him, "I've got your back. They're coming after you." This is classic Trump. Defend the loyalists no matter what. It doesn't matter what they've done. It doesn't matter how unqualified they are. If they're loyal to Trump, that's all that matters. Look at Trump's track record of appointees. Jared Kushner, a real estate heir with the zero foreign policy experience, was put in charge of Middle East peace talks. Rudy Giuliani, a man who's turned himself into a national punchline, who's running around as Trump's personal lawyer, and now Pete Hegseth, whose military experience consists of being a major in the National Guard, is being floated for Secretary of Defense. Now let me be clear, I respect the National Guard. They serve an important role, but let's not pretend that 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year makes you a military genius. I've seen it firsthand. When National Guard units deploy, there's often a steep learning curve. Some of them adapt quickly, others not so much. I'll never forget a story about a 19-year-old kid who didn't make it home because the National Guard unit thought that they could go outside the wire without knowing how to shoot, move, and communicate. But this isn't just about Pete Hegseth. It's about a broader culture of hypocrisy and victimhood in the GOP. They cry foul when the media exposes their scandals, but they have no problem weaponizing private information against others. Take the media's reaction to Penelope Hegseth's email. Some pundits call it outrageous that the press would print a private letter between a mother and son like it violates HIPAA or something. But where was that outrage when Republicans dragged Hunter Biden's personal life through the mud? Where was that outrage when they turned Hillary Clinton's emails into a years-long scandal? The hypocrisy is so blatant, it's almost laughable. And let's not forget the role of Fox News in all of this. Pete Hegseth loves to use his platform on Fox to lecture America about morality and values. Sounds great, Pete, until your own mother accused you of being an absolute abuser of women. The GOP's strategy here is clear. Deflect, deny, and distract. They want us to focus on anything other than the substance of the allegations. They want us to believe that this is just another hit job by the liberal media. But the facts don't lie. Pete Hegseth's scandals are real, and they're disqualifying. And if we don't start holding people like him accountable, we're going to keep getting leaders who preach values but live lies. Every morning I wake up and wonder, how did we get here? How do we become a country where loyalty to Trump trumps competence and integrity? It's exhausting. It's heartbreaking. I wish I didn't care. I wish I could just ignore it all and go about my day, but I can't because the stakes are too high. This isn't just about Pete Hegseth. This is about the future of our country. This is about whether we're going to demand better from our leaders or settle for the same self-serving hypocrites who have gotten us into this mess. Pete Hegseth isn't a role model. He's a train wreck. He's what happens when we prioritize loyalty over accountability, when we let people skate by because they say the right things instead of doing the right things. If we don't start demanding better, we're going to wake up one day and wonder how we let this happen. And by then, it's going to be too late. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.